2, 3. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. Welcome back, guys, to the first installment of the week by week, pretty much polls or how the weeks kind of look review. We started doing these late last year during the season. So now we are doing these for week 2. Just finished recording, editing pretty much all of week 1. Now we're getting into week 2. So I installed all of the winners and losers already into this dynasty load up, or what do you call it, save, into this dynasty save. But basically everything's up to date. The scores might be a little different, but the wins and losses are all the same. So we're about to go over just top 25 standings and then the big games on the schedule for this week. So Ohio State is going to take that number 1 spot after beating Texas last week. Should I be concerned or should I be surprised? No. Penn State's taking that number 2 spot after beating Nevada. Georgia's taking the 3 spot after beating Marshall. LSU's taking the 4 spot after beating Clemson. Notre Dame's taking the 5 spot. They were there last week, but they just beat Miami. Oregon's going to take the 6th spot. They were also there last week, but they just beat, it says FCS Northwest. They beat Montana State, basically. Illinois takes the 7th spot. They beat, who did Illinois beat? I do not remember, but they had a game and they beat somebody last week as well. South Carolina beat Virginia Tech. Now they're the 8th spot. Texas was number 1. They dropped all the way back down to number 9. The reigning champions currently trying to defend their honor. The defending national champions, Texas, is struggling. You know, they were number 1 going into the year. Now they're number 9. Hopefully they can bounce back up, but hey, it's gonna be a grind from here on out. Arizona State taking that 10th spot. Interesting, after they beat NAU in AU last week in week 1. Interesting how they're above Michigan, who's at the 11th spot after beating New Mexico. Florida takes the 12th. Kansas State 13th spot after beating, I think, NDU, North Dakota University. Ole Miss takes the 14th spot. Clemson dropped from 7th after losing to LSU. Now they're 15th in the polls. SMU 16th. Texas A&M the 17th. Indiana the 18th. Tennessee the 19th. Oklahoma the 20th. Alabama lost to Florida State. They're the 21st. Miami is the 22nd after losing to Notre Dame. BYU 23rd. Texas Tech 24th. Auburn 25th after beating Baylor. Interesting. It's interesting how they don't have FSU up on that list after they beat and they upset a number 9 ranked Alabama. Interesting, but see what the coaches are saying. Pretty much the same thing. Of course, there are small changes here and there. They had Missouri in for some reason, but it's pretty much the same shit. So, really quickly, we're gonna look at the scores and schedules pretty much going into this week. So, starting with the ACC, nothing too big. Baylor, SMU is gonna be a big game. Nothing other. Oh, Duke, Illinois is gonna be a big game. Nothing else. Nothing really big going on. Let's try the American League. I mean, these are all small games to the bigger picture currently right now. Florida versus USF. I think, I don't know, I could be mistaken, but I think last year, they played and Florida State lost to USF. No, USF beat the Hurricanes last week. That's what that was. Okay. Last year, USF upset the Hurricanes, Miami. But Big 12, rivalry game. It's a big rivalry. It's been a couple years since they've done this rivalry, so it's cool to see it, back for this year. Kansas, Missouri, that's a big game. This is a big game. Already said that. Um, Oregon, Oklahoma State, that might be a big game just for Oregon, just to try to see if they can, stay strong. This is a big rivalry game early in the season. Iowa State lost to Kansas State in week 0, and now they beat they beat some FCS team in week 1. So now they're going to week 2, having to face off against Iowa, who's coming off the win versus Albany University. So that is a pretty big. I mean, it's a rivalry game, okay? So you're gonna be in the Cyclone Stadium. I don't know who won last year, but Iowa State gotta stay strong. You're in the Big 12. There's gonna be a lot of competition. You gotta see what we can do, honestly, because you're gonna be going against some stronger teams, definitely, by season's end. For the Big 10, I mean, UCLA is playing UNLV. I mean, it's nothing crazy, honestly, except for Duke. This game's going to be really big for Duke to try to see if they can upset Illinois. I mean, otherwise than that, Oklahoma, Michigan, that is a very big game. Both teams are ranked. Both teams coming off a win. Oklahoma beating some FCS team last week. Michigan beating New Mexico. So this is a important game for both teams, just because Michigan is ranked high. If they beat Oklahoma, they have a chance to sneak into the top 10. Oklahoma, I mean, it's very early in the year, so you can always go up and go down. But Oklahoma, you're trying to get out of that top 20 range, try to force yourself into the top 15 maybe. But, honestly, it's not really much about the rankings of the top 25. It's more about how many wins you have. And it's going to be very important for both of these teams to get this win, just because of the implications it might have on the rest of your season and for your playoff hopes. So, very, very important. Colorado, Delaware, this is going to be hopefully a snoozer. Hopefully, Colorado pulls out the big, demolishing, destructuring of Delaware. Delaware's come off the loss to Delaware State. Their FCS on a counterpart, I want to say, but I mean, otherwise than that, there is no big games for Conference USA. No big games for MAC. Mountain West. I mean, San Jose has a very hard task of playing the angry Texas, who just lost to Ohio State. You're gonna get your ass beat. I'm sorry, you're not gonna win that one. I mean, SEC. A lot of SEC teams pretty much has easy games, except Ole Miss has to play Kentucky. Kentucky destroyed Toledo last week. Ole Miss destroyed Georgia Southern last week. This is a very. I mean, you guys are gonna be sleeping on Kentucky. You guys are gonna be sleeping on Kentucky. I already know. But Kentucky is playing Ole Miss. It doesn't matter that Ole Miss is ranked. Ole Miss went into the year ranked. It doesn't mean they're going to stay there ranked. This I'm marking as a big game because just Kentucky is looking very strong. I know it's only been one game, but they do look strong going into the rest of the season. Ole Miss is also looking very strong. Very young team, but they are a strong team. They don't have Jackson Dart anymore, but I'm telling you, their quarterback they have currently can sling it. This is going to be a important game for both teams. Alabama playing ULM, ain't nobody give a shit. We already talked about this game. Otherwise than that, I mean, that's pretty much all, honestly. Let's look at the Sun Belt. We got to face off against Clemson. I mean, some of these games are just big schools scheduling these smaller teams, bro, that, there's no way you guys are going to get out of there there's no way you guys are going to get out of there alive. You're not winning. Troy versus Clemson? What even is that, bro? All right, we're just going to look at the standings for these teams, see how high they are on the standings. For some reason, you had Texas, who is ranked number 9, but they are first in the standings. Okay. Texas State in the Sun Belt is first so far. I mean, really quickly, let's just talk. I know this video is all over the place, but it usually is for these. I don't really edit these at all. So Texas State, this conference is going to be one you have to look forward to, I want to say, or just pay attention to mostly. You have Texas State, who's going to be a strong team this year. Louisiana, who's going to be a strong team this year. JMU, who's going to be a strong team this year. South Alabama, who's going to be a strong team this year. And then, don't forget about the sleeper, Arkansas State. I know they're already struggling, but they could make a comeback. They were strong last year. We'll see. Marshall might be a sleeper as well. And Georgia Southern might be a sleeper as well. So when it starts getting into conference games, these games, I mean, the big players here is Texas State, Louisiana, JMU, and South Alabama. But I'm telling you, the Sun Belt might be dangerous this year. So just watch out for that. ACC, you have Clemson at the top. Currently, even though they lost, they had a bigger team that they had to play versus apparently these other teams. Memphis, this American is also looking dangerous because no one here except Tulane can combat Memphis. So Memphis versus Tulane might be the American League Championship by the end of the year. But again, don't fault some of these teams. Don't fault FAU. Don't fault Rice. Don't fault ECU. Don't fault UNT. These teams can also, these schools can also try to sneak their way into, the top of the standings by the end of the season. We don't know yet. I'm just saying right now, Memphis and Tulane are definitely going to be controlling this American League for a little bit more of this season. I don't know how long or how strong these teams will be by the end, but they are looking dominant now. Big 12, Kansas State is leading right now, of course, because it's 2-0. But, Kansas State, this Big 12 is going to be dangerous, okay? I know I've been saying this for a ton of other conferences, but you have Kansas State, Arizona State, Iowa State. BYU can be dangerous. Texas State is looking dangerous. Baylor can be dangerous. Colorado is probably going to be dangerous. Utah is looking dangerous, even though they had the heartbreaking loss for UCLA. Kansas can be dangerous. Oklahoma State is looking kind of stupid after getting upset last week. UCF is probably not going to do shit. Arizona can be dangerous. Houston's not going to do shit. Cincinnati might not do shit, but they can have the potential to be some type of heartbreaker in the Big 12. And West Virginia is not doing shit. Big 10. Big 10, a lot of these teams have wins. A lot of these teams have smaller wins than others, but we'll just see how the Big 10 does, honestly. And the Big 10 is one of the top conferences in all college football. I think I would go SEC, of course, then Big 10, then Big 12, and then wherever you want to structure ones, other conferences below that, you can. But in this conference, the teams I would say have the potential to be a scary team. I would go Liberty and Jacksonville State. None of these other teams are really striking out to me, but I'm definitely taking those two at the forefront. Of course, Notre Dame's going to be dangerous, not having a conference to play in. And yeah, guys, really, if I wanted to make another video quickly talking about week 2, I will. But, for now, that is it. Hope you guys are enjoying all the content I have been posting. I love you guys so much. I've been putting a lot of work in. I'm sorry some of the week 1 games are coming in a little late. I need to get my internet fixed so I can upload. Oh my god, so I can upload these videos quicker. But otherwise than that, thank you guys so much. I love y'all. Peace out.